I'm like smiling like an insane person. Taurus new moon. Are we so excited? I have a couple of really big announcements. Obviously, I'm recording right now. So obviously if you're watching this, the phone is back. Yeah, May 13th, someone wanted me to die for sure because you just can't make up the circumstances that Dennis and I find ourselves in. But anyways, that doesn't fucking matter. So today is May 15th, 2026. I am feeling very at home right now because the moon is in Taurus. Obviously, I'm a Taurus moon, so God is good. It has been a crazy time. I definitely was like going through a bit of a like Bordeaux experience before doing this, where yeah, it was just kind of a clusterfuck. Like my phone just like broke, and then I was just like okay. And you guys know me, like genuinely with a phone, like you're lucky Dennis exists, because if he didn't buy me this phone, like there would be no phone. And then when the phone starts doing like too much, when it just becomes like even kind of like inconvenient, I'm just like, dude, fuck it, dude, I don't care. So it only took like, it's just like really bad that we're like mapless and like, yeah. So anyways, I really had to overcome. I know I've kind of been AWOL the last like 48 hours in not a bad way. But I did think I was going to be off the count. I was like, I mean, if a phone doesn't come back, I just can't take another fucking L right now. It just like, it's like, I'm already being outed as the loser. Can we just, so that's how I'm feeling. Pause. Just like a little hand lotion, actually. So let's talk about it. Taurus new moon. I don't have, and I mean, that's not even true. I have a fuck ton of like things that I'm like experiencing and processing, but I'm really excited because I feel like I don't have any off the top downloads because, like I said, I've been kind of in a very first person experience. There's so much going on in the world, and I feel like the whole losing a phone thing, and it wasn't even just like, oh, how long I was lost or anything and being over dependent. It's just like it broke in a way that I was like, well, this won't get fixed, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna do anything about it, and I don't know. So I'm no good. I can only do so much. You know what I mean? I can only do so much. So I'm excited. I've got cards galore. Let's just fucking do some cards, right? Let's see what we've all got in store for this first new moon from God. I feel like that's important. But yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna be playing like catch up the rest of the afternoon, and I'm just kind of in a good mood. So yeah, I'm in a good mood, but I had to fucking fight for it, dude. It's like I wasn't in a good mood, but I'm like chilling now because I was really upset about the demon attack that I just got. Like, I'm just oversharing for like 3 minutes. Everybody relax, okay? But like the demon attack that I had the other day was just like so, like we were so protected from everything. I had it in fracture with like law enforcement, which was like actually like, anyways, I'm too sensitive to be dealing with that kind of frequency. So that was horrible. Just because it's like the nigger catchers in real life. So like, that's just like, let's just not do that. But then it was just like, it was actually like really great. Like they got mad, humbled, and embarrassed in a very embarrassing way. It was like a harassment situation where it was like, are you done now? They're like, okay, you guys can go. Yeah, okay, bye. So anyways, but all of that is sent by the nefarious dark entities that obviously didn't want me to, I guess, come into full illumination about like the truth of life, I guess, right now. So fuck off. Yeah, some more inventory for me though. Currently, yeah, dude, it's just like, yeah, this week was a little bit of a humiliating blow, and I was like, had such high hopes in certain ways. It doesn't mean that the things aren't the things. I just feel like I had a pretty like humiliating week, like, and it was like a deeply transformative one. It was like my period, everything was like, I knew manifestations were coming, but it was kind of one of those like crunchy energies where it was just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. So I really don't know what's going on. So yeah, let's see what the opening message is. Thank you guys for letting me up. It's only been 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. I do so much. Wow. Okay. So, couple things. So Taurus new moon starting energy is totally the Nine of Wands, and this is exactly like, it's funny that I was like yapping and whatever, but this is totally like what I feel like the disposition is. There's something to really be said about the Nine of Wands where like the movement forward, like everyone's disposition. So like, I tell Dennis this all the time, part of the perks of being a Taurus moon, if you want to like life hack, so Taurus moons are going to do the thing, they're going to be like fairly structured, like decently like intentional and like knowing what they're trying to build in life. However, when you're making tentative plans with a Taurus, there is a twofold process to that. And the second fold is like, there's like what I could think I'd want to do. And then there's like what my body is actually going to permit me to do. That will also play into whether or not like we can grab dinner later. It's always going to be that for a Taurus. If my stomach hurts and I need a nappy, if I, whatever, it's like, it's going to be that way. So I think right now, obviously, the biggest thing being the things that are supposed to be mixing are finally starting that alchemical process. That could be baby steps. It could literally just be that you are now like parties that are meant to come into union are like finally done with the third party karmic timelines to where it's like now we know what we're supposed to be focused on. So now we're just focusing on that. However, you could be Timbuktu to fucking Connecticut type of distance, or in terms of like really seeing like fruits or something from what the connection is. So again, you could be starting kind of anywhere at a soul level with the types of reunions that we're having. But the good thing is it sounds like at the Taurus new moon, there's a boundary that any and every one of us is willing to put up that protects our right to solve and find solutions for our contemporary challenges, like in the day-to-day, but offering a solution that comes from what their body can actually do. So a little PSA, because I think too, with a lot of like the karmic justice of things that are coming down, especially because we've got this sort of temperance undertone where it's like, we're definitely dealing with like celestial energy. We're definitely dealing with like higher frequency beings that are coming to assist the situation. It's like, it is very quintessential that boundary sort of be initiated. And that we're all kind of a little bit, it's not calling for empathy, but where it's not needed, but it is calling for awareness, maybe that like the reality is like, just maybe don't underestimate or not consider like movement or like someone like, what I'm saying is don't be too fucking precious right now, because I feel like we're always too fucking precious, but it's like, don't be too precious about, how we endure. You get what I'm saying? The current conditions, because let's just say we're all enduring. But I also just kind of feel like there's this energy that's just like very much like, there could also just like today, like it starts this new reality where it's like God had to put up a literal like spiritual bumper. Like it's like bumper as in, because you might have been too drunk. Otherwise it's I feel like this is that point where the addict's like, I should probably do something physical, where it's like, maybe I can't just keep buying weed if I need to like stop smoking or something, or I can't just keep like liquor in the house anymore. This is that type of what you're doing, because this is acknowledging that like this thing is something I maybe have a habitual habit of like mixing with or going back to if there wasn't a boundary. So this is the type of thing where I feel like that immediate thing is like, that's needed. I feel like even for like coming into union with what's like for you, it's even needed for them. I feel like that's what I'm saying, is like people shouldn't be too precious about how you're going to communicate. Like, I have put up the proper boundary from the thing that obviously like would otherwise be mixing myself with. And that's because there's something about like, if you don't have boundaries in place, you don't understand that. I think it's about everyone dropping in at the Taurus new moon to like how precious your energy truly is. And that's like Taurus to a T. Like, I don't know how else to explain to you. I could never put enough. I don't even know what it is about a little hydration on the fucking body. But anyways, but that's the truth about a Taurus is, being really well acquainted with the like the most important knowledge that a Taurus has to hold is like how valuable they are, right? Our first earth sign, right? How valuable is the rock? You know what I mean? The uncut rock we just pull out of the ground, right? Not like a whole mountain range or something like Capricorn. Like, no, like a pebble. Like, how valuable is that gemstone you just pulled out of the ground, right? And so I think because this Taurus new moon is like in a very internal and intimate way, it's reminding everyone about like what the number would be. It's not a number, but it's like if you had a spiritual value, like to God, like you're being whispered that today. So then it's like, okay, I have this information about like what my intrinsic value would be, and then this is the kind of conversation where it's like I'm almost feeling like I said, God puts up the bumpers immediately, or you initiate them immediately, or today is the day that whatever bumpers need to be put up so you can stay in your lane, they get put up, because it's about preserving, because basically the thematics under the Taurus moon is like you're finally, it's about making sure you're locked into the right alignment, so that because you're about to start mixing, you're going to start mixing and alchemizing for your new timeline. And again, like I said, that can unfold over any sort of passage of time, but it is important to know that like we are no longer doing what the old timeline was. We're not doing the affiliations and the partnerships. Even if you're continuing a partnership, it's going to be it's crossed over, so it's now like in the new paradigm. So I think that's really important. I also think there's another side note conversation about some people are definitely dealing with at a certain lower vibration where it's like they're locked out of or blocked from the thing that they need to be mixing with. This would be like, damn it, that would be the medicine I need to save my life right now, and I can't get it. You know, it's like, this is like, I'm also seeing like when you're like at the Walmart and they have like the dumbest shit like locked in fucking lock and key and customer client help. It's like that. It's like you're not gonna be able to buy these like Rotos, condoms, or mascara. You're gonna have to fucking call the fucking feds to get into this case, type of thing. So that might be another starting message, but I genuinely feel like there's also a side note too about the whole like being locked out. If you're like, if there's an energy that's like blocked out of, like for example, it doesn't matter what position it is, like everyone would know what they're supposed to be mixing with that time. They'd also know whether they're able to do that or not, or where they are in proximity to what they should be on, what the task of their shit should be. But I also feel like this is that point where it's like, it's so cut and dry in the universe, like what is on your path and what's not actually on your path, that like it's kind of like where you don't even have a choice but to go stand at that gate and wait, because you don't got nowhere else to be. Like they're probably not even gonna open this shit for you. It don't even matter, but it's like, I don't even have another place like I was supposed to be. So I guess the best thing for me to do is just stand at this gate and be like, I see now that this is where I was supposed to be. But again, we'll see how this goes in the coming cards about like where this is going. But I feel that way. It's like, yeah, I feel like May 15th, we were supposed to be igniting the new mixology. We were supposed to be doing that. And again, whether or not you follow the divine decree and you are connected and there's no wall between you and the thing you were supposed to be mixing with, or not, is up to you. So let's keep going. 9 of Wands, Taurus new moon. Let's see some other messages, Spirit. Thank you. Taurus new moon. I'm so excited. The vibe is so good. It's like I needed it. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, where is it? Where's the vibe? Because I'm not feeling this one. The Strength card. Okay. Another thing. There's a very large energy right now that I feel like anyone who did not volunteer for their crucifixion would be getting crucified at this time, right? Bottom of the deck, the Hangman, right? So they're being suspended so that they can have a new spiritual perspective. So a lot of times, especially right now, when people are being asked to cross over and it's not really optional, because the reason that it's not optional to cross over now is because the old world is vanishing. So first everything collapses, and then it's just gonna disintegrate. It's not gonna be a place that people really can dwell. So some real end of the third world, like that third dimension as we know it, type of frequencies. And so now it's a little bit different, because the nudge from Spirit to, you know, when Spirit puts you in this position during these times, it feels a little more like, does your soul want to keep doing this or no? Because if not, it's going to take very certain types of whatever movement to move forward. And if it's not on board, then you're just gonna, because it just looks like so if you already had your crucifixion, like if you're someone who's already been in the shit pinata, has already been smeared, and you're like, girl, I know all about that motherfucking crucifixion. If that's your vibe right now is actually like under this moon and under these beams, giving you like today and tomorrow, it's giving you this feeling of like crazy God strength. Like you are definitely being seen as someone who is mad strong. I also feel like for the bitches who put up boundaries and didn't bring them down, you got an alignment to I feel like that's what I was trying to say. Is like I was like changing so much that I feel like the universe just like wiped my shit and like it was just like so obvious that God wanted me to know like you are changing like in such an insane way. It was like a very physical transformation, I feel like, over the last week for me. And a lot of it had to do with like, there came a really tough time where I was just like, I don't even really know what the answer is. I think everyone here needs to get a blocky on that. I think everyone here is off their fucking rocker. They're at different points of ascension. It's hard for me to communicate or for anything to feel safe because people are just confused in they're in the fucking Bordeaux. They don't know where they are on the spiritual walk. So it kind of got to that place. But again, that is exactly, there is a victory and a liberation. Those of you who like, who God said, do not eat the forbidden fruit, you like actually didn't. Like, it was hard, but it was a spiritual instruction. I feel like in the very recent past, it was like you were spiritually instructed to like block other people and only focus on what you're doing. Even though you were tempted, because I feel like you were tempted, I feel like you were hanging, you know what I mean? Like, you would easily want to, there's something about like you would have easily wanted to be cut down, but I think it was about who could observe that what was going on was your own crucifixion. If you weren't aware of that, if you also were in your ego, so you were trying not to make this spotlight moment be about you needing to die and transform, then yeah, you totally have that coming for you. And there's a lot of God's strength that would be required of you that you won't have. Straight up. Because it was this whole situation about like the crucifixion and the death process is like very vital to life. It's actually really needed. It's like actually where we fucking build the spiritual chops, you know? In the observation of like the loss of it all. You really understand, like, you know, a lot of times God too, for me, I'm not an overthinker. I just think a lot. I think a lot and I process very fast. I process like very dense information very quickly and very efficiently. And so that machine is gonna be, it's a hot motor. Hence why I have like some of those polarities, like I'm very like icy blooded, cold blooded in terms of like actual body temperature. And so I really feel that way. I feel like you're really just gonna, I mean, there's not really anywhere else to put it. It was about, you need boundaries in place too whenever you're going through a crucifixion, because you have to preserve some sense of like dignity while you know, like, it's important when you're when you know you're going through a crucifixion process, just to be like, I'm aware that I need to go through this. This isn't like something, because there could be a lot of alarm, like, you know, you could be thinking that, you know, people could be thinking like it's something you don't desire, like, oh no, you're scared to die, or you're scared to transform, or you're scared to do this. So I feel like there's that energy there as well, where it's like, nope, I'm just fully transforming and fully getting strong enough. I feel like something was like, it's better to just stay blocked until this is all the way clean, because I think there's something about like, it's acknowledged. It's like, we're aware. I think, again, we know what we're supposed to be mixing with. So I think once we got past that, because I kind of felt it, I was like, okay, yeah, but I kind of am a seer. So like, I kind of already know who I'm supposed to be mixing with. So that's not really like getting things like that confirmed. Like, oh, they really do like know you exist, or they do really want to like that's not even the thing right now. The thing right now is like, well, yeah, we know we would definitely overstand like what's a new horizon, but the reason it hasn't initiated yet is because of how much, like, again, there's something about this energy of like, I would just wait in line for this type of thing. It's something that's so like desirable that it's like, I don't have anywhere else to be. This would be the only thing for me. Like, I think that's just what's crazy is like, God has introduced all of us in these years, no matter what has been going on in your life, to like dream like aspects of life where it's like, this is the only place I'd live, or this is the only partner I'd want, or this is the only, even if they're not yours, like you've been introduced to these types of things and you've seen them, and you know that if they're not on your path, they call you to a path very specific. And I feel that way. I just feel like there's such a big call to the path that you truly desire, your highest timeline. And I feel like, yeah, there's just an even bigger awareness though that it's like the higher timeline is not this shit we was doing. And so you really just, I think the best part about the highest timeline is the freedom that comes with it, is like the ideating and like what's possible and what we can do. And it's just so much better without the structures of the old world and late stage capitalism and bullshit, right? So it took a lot of God strength, because again, I think it was just a lot of tooth and nail, titty gritty, fucking 9 of Wands, wounded warrior, fucking just had to be strong. I feel like this is probably how Jesus Christ would have felt on that motherfucking wooden cross. Like, this fucking hurts. What the fuck? Ouch. Excuse you. And you just, I guess you get stronger. I don't think that nigga even had the perspective that he would be like regenerating the body from the scars and the wounding. But yeah, he did do that. So you would gain some God strength. Yeah. But it's like, this is God trying to correct the JC frequency. It's kind of trying to correct the self-sacrificial wounding that we inherited from that Messiah in history. where it's like, it probably would be better next time around, Jesus, to like put up a few boundaries with some of these guys. Maybe not try to fucking heal everybody in the motherfucking crick, because these bitches ain't shit. Obviously, they'll have you looking like that. So just to suggest ye. Let's see. Whoa. And another thing, I hate to say this, but like maybe that's the message, is like, Taurus new moon, you're like way hotter independent. Like, duh. That's like kind of the vibe though, right? Because Taurus is in a Dodi sign. Taurus attracts a lot of well-being if they're in a high sense of their own value, or they like to luxuriate particularly. Taurans are really more so just gonna be like very like divulging to their like senses. So they're gonna be very like sensual human beings. I don't even just mean like romantically or like but like they're just moving through life through their senses. Now, you can be one of those Tauruses that likes the like Venusian luxury quality of life. But really with Taurus, it's more so that you're connected to the quality. Like you're aware of that realm, not so much that it's just like nice quality stuff or like whatever. But yes, I do think there's something really big to be said. Is like the Taurus new moon message is like, yes, independence is sexy. That's the message. Yep. Because right now, I don't think people expected that. I think everyone who was trying to go like independent and sovereign in their energy, that can extend to anything. This is in codependent partnerships and relating. This can be anything, but like truly being someone who sources stuff from yourself and isn't owned by anybody. And this is ultimately like liberating yourself from slavery timelines altogether, which should be every single, I don't even know how you girls are on this. Like, I think, okay, if we really want to talk about what has been pissing me off the last few weeks about people who engage my studio, a lot of the things that deeply offend me like are very simple. Like a lot of you girls think it's because I'm like fucking going back and forth with your baby mama. It's like, no bitch. The actual thing that's actually disgusting me is like, you think I don't see my literature, my work, my teaching, my philosophies like out in the world? You think I don't see you girls being learned off my education system? I do. So I watch you girls go out in the world and not give credit to where you learn certain things. So that's not gonna fly over here, mind you. But that's also probably why you're a broke back buster right now, living a codependent shit piñata instead of being an independent baddie like I was trying to get you to be. Because I don't care whether you agree with anything about what I do. That's not the purpose of this media conglomerate, okay? You don't have to live like me. Maybe if you did, you look like me, but you don't. So we're good. It's an even trade, okay? But what I am trying to say is I have always wanted to produce humans who are prepared for the age of the Aquarius, which is an age of sovereign individuality, 100%. Yes, there are aspects of life where we do the group work thing, but we need stronger individuals. There is no more, again, my whole presidential campaign, my whole work with the US political system right now is all about restructuring the parent-child relationship. Why? Because no more bitches being like, I'm born to be a mom. No, the fuck you're not, dude. You're not. That doesn't even make sense to a child. You were born just to give birth to me. How does that make? That doesn't even make any sense. Because whoever you got with is no. It's ass backwards. You can only fill that child up if you have an individual repertoire of who you are, because they want to know all about who you are, and you're over here trying to learn all about who they are. So there's an empty knowledge here. So there's gonna be two dumbasses in the situation. That's all I'm trying to say. But again, this is where you really wanted to be independent. It doesn't matter what your roles are, whether you're a parent, whether you're a friend, whether you're a daughter, it doesn't even matter what it is. Every single person, I told you girls to be prepared for every man for themselves. You needed to be preparing for that. Why? I told you girls to get your little beans. It doesn't even matter. This is sound, logical, spiritual, metaphysical advice from me. I tell you girls this every day. Stop relying on capitalism to get you afloat. You don't have to be broke. You don't got to be me necessarily to be not in capitalism. You don't. You can have a fuck ton of money and not actually like perpetuate the system of capitalism. Yeah, sure. It's very possible. Capitalism is a specific type of framework that I keep trying to tell you girls is not sustainable. And that's what you girls, obviously through a lot of trial and error, we're starting to see. It's like, wait a minute. How come every time I get a deal in capitalism, or how come every time these guys pay me in capitalism, this shit don't work? Or how come you girls are starting to fucking, what? It's just because the system is just like ineffective. It's not even just like a critique. Like, I'm not even just like some like lefty, tefty, no, I'm just like, it's really not that advanced of a system. And I just genuinely don't think it's in humanity's best interest to not center living human life as the currency that's at the center of whatever system we use to organize ourselves. It can't be a dollar. It can't be a non-breathing thing that we prioritize and circulate. We need to prioritize the human condition in whatever system we make next. And that's got to be what's actually like what we're working and driving and creating and innovating for. So for my bitches who get it, congratulations, because you're 9 of Pentacles. You put up some boundaries that you did not falter on, no matter how much it just publicly crucified you. It was a lot of like long game shit, dude. It was a lot of long game shit, dude. Where it's just like, you are never, and this is revolutionary talk that I have with myself regularly, because it's like, sometimes when I'm doing the revolutionary thing and I'm collapsing a system, which means I have to completely withdraw from it, it also means that like a lot of the things that I've created have not been fair. There was no system to fairly like assess it. So a lot of my art has been completely like bastardized and sort of just like either that or it's like considered a failure in capitalism because it doesn't have making money in its blueprint. So it doesn't make any money in that way. From slavery, it doesn't make my art can't make any money from slavery because there's no enslavement going in. So I'm ineffective in capitalism, and my artwork gets treated as either that or just like it completely just, it doesn't even have a context usually that people are even really like witnessing it from. So I think there's just like a lot of erasure that's like I've been dealing with. So having strong boundaries and being like, no, I like you as a person, but I don't like that you're a capitalist, because you're going to try to take Tethered Studios, what I say, what I do, my education and our collaboration to a direction I just fucking crawled tooth and nail to be fucking free from. And I've been coming up against a lot of bitches who are fighting me in the ether and want me to go to hell. And I'm like, no. You don't even got to waste your time fighting me. You and your baby daddy can go to hell. Enjoy capitalism. I'm literally only sustaining that. I don't understand why you guys want to come to my boundaries and try to test me. Like, one of the things that really got a lot of you girls blocked in one fell swoop was that, like, I already told you, I'm not listening to what you girls are saying. I know where to not put my trust. I know what industries are not going to be here. That's why when you girls try to bait me out and ask me to do dumb, unsustainable stuff, the answer's got to be no, because it's not real. And I get you weren't awake, but you don't understand some of the stuff that you're pouring into wasn't real. It doesn't even, it's an illusion. So it's not even just that it's like not successful. It's like not even actually fucking real. So again, while I'm watching you girls do fraudulent shit and waste your time and money, you guys were calling me a hobo thinking I was wasting my time and money, but actually I have no debts to anyone. Like, I don't have any baggage. I don't own any assets in the old world. The old world spit me out and I just let it spit me out because I was like, well, the only reason God would let me get fucking kicked to the curb and spit out, evicted and lose all my shit and because it's like, girl, it didn't feel like that at the start of the 2020s losing everything, but all of that shit was a liability. Every piece of technology, every fucking thing that I inherited in that old system of slavery got collected on, and I was happy to give it up because it was acquired through slavery. So I definitely don't want it. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want it. I definitely want to just like sit with my own shit and try to figure out whatever little pebbles I can get kicking until I can start generating my own shit. Because I don't need to have somebody in a third fucking world country fucking making my fucking quarter zip for me for fucking a penny on the dollar. You know what I mean? So I gotta get somewhere and get useful. But I think you guys are understanding why it was never about you girls. It's just like you do unethical shit and you don't have any morals or like life philosophies that you stick to. And then you get around someone who's like deeply fixed, and I just don't move like you girls. I don't move like some sort of townie, okay? I'm a local. So I don't know what you're trying to get me to do. I don't do anything quickly, huh? Like, it's like, what are you trying to pimp me out of it? There's no escaping my life. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a pretty sedimentary ass bitch, actually. Like, it's like, I don't really do fucking anything, actually. I feel like my shit's been very sterile, actually. Yeah, I've never even really, like, yeah. Anyways, whatever. So, Taurus new message. Independence is sexy. That's the new wave. Suddenly, I don't know how to explain it. You woke up and your appetite sexually for that partner you've been with is it just dropped out and you're wondering what it is. It's the whole independence is sexy now. You and that bitch are not independent. You're actually codependent. You actually thought, see, and that's what I'm trying to tell you girls. You know, this Mother's Day, I let it be quiet. I let it be quiet. I let it be quiet in certain ways because none of you girls adequately fucking like the women in your lives, obviously. But also, like, girlski, like, it was just like one too many of you girls really thinking that, like, it's one thing to be in the dynamic that you in, but baby, if it's not leadership, don't make an example out yourself every time. You know what I'm saying? If you really in some karmic doo-doo, don't talk about it too much. Because it's just like, I don't even know what you girls, what do you want us to say about it online? But that's what it gave. It's like, a lot of you niggas think like flexing fucking codependent nuclear, it's like, what? That's gendered, like, parental roles? Like, Jesus Christ. Mom and dad should be able to hold a screwdriver, okay? Jesus Christ. You ain't doing nothing but reheating dino nuggets. Like, that doesn't have to be a woman's place. Like, anybody can do that nasty shit that you girls feed them children. Jesus Christ. Like, these are gonna make, don't piss me off. Okay, don't piss me off. In the recent past. Yeah, I think this is really important. I think, too, the Taurus new moon, I think there's also some very Taurus behavior where it's like, we're not quick to, like, undo anything, or like, it looks like there's very big culminating gestures in the recent past where it's like 7 of Cups, very big emotional display. It's coming from a King of Cups, so it's like kind of a little bit of a love bomb here to this Hierophant, who they have to, it's basically like people in the recent past, it's like the divine masculine had to kind of love bomb God real quick because their divine feminine, I feel like, was kind of like in strong boundaries to protect the independence that it had. And I think it's funny because if the masculine tried to do like a little love bomb to try to look righteous, the feminine was like, yeah, it's a big reclamation of that. It's really independence, like the feminine in each of us. So this is why if you're feeling like an independent frequency, that's because your divine feminine is actually like not, like she's not being enslaved. So I feel like in the recent past, your divine mask, if you're not feeling free and you're definitely in an enslavement paradigm still because you haven't made any structures, this is what's happening. Your divine masculine is just a love bomber. He's still moving from complete ego. Where it's like all you're doing is like love bombing something and like fulfilling it. Like, oh, I love you. Like, that's the method. It's like keeping something misaligned by just being like, oh, I love this. It's like the glaze, it's like too much. So you would have needed to be strong against that because you know that's not love. This, in a low vibration, the feminine would have needed to protect against this because it felt like love bombing. It felt like love bombing, and then it also felt like just proving a bunch of stuff. Like, you can tell when you're being treated. I also want to say, like, you know when someone is treating you as objectifying you. It's like what I would want to say. I feel like someone blocked someone because they were objectifying, and it showed their God strength, and it like... That's one way to G up and get a fat stack. It's kind of like the OnlyFans mentality. It's like kind of like using niggas who like, you know, like they're actually objectifying you, but like converting it into currency. It's like, oh yeah, you just sit around and lust and can fucking eat hot chips and lie. So cool. I'm gonna just block you and then cash out maybe. So that's the low vibration of it. But it looks like in a high vibration, the beautiful thing is like, your boundaries actually made someone fall really, really like, ooh, it was really good. It's a good thing. Which is what God was trying to say. It was like, actually, what's sexy is independence. That's what I feel like this is about me saying. Is like, in the recent past, the masculine was like going insane. For the divine feminine that was like independent, they're like, oh my God. Yeah, they're like, I want to invest. And it's funny because I feel like this divine feminine is like, it's kind of like getting the whole package, right? Like it does kind of feel like their emotional display is not actually the full package. It's just their entire emotional spectrum, but it also comes at a time when you're completely independent. So it does kind of feel like, in a way, this divine masculine is giving you everything. But it's actually like his offering of everything matches when you inherit everything. But you inherited everything by how? Taking the independent route. But the independent route very recently asked you to do Knight of Wands, which was like exhausting. It was just like, this doesn't even really feel like it has a reward because the Knight of Wands is not super fruitful because it's like the part of like sustaining, again, that endurance kind of energy where it's like there's trials, tribulations, and no direct immediate other than like this phase will ensure that if we complete it, we are a step closer to completing the whole magic suit in a certain way. So I feel like, yeah, that's what they wanted to say to you. It's like, your independence is really sexy. In fact, it's what created all of this. I feel like the high vibrational, truly divine feminines really inspired the divine masculine to step into divinity with their independence. And I think it was through a way the divine masculine was very attracted to it. I think that was like something that's like, whoa. And not even, and I'm actually not even getting like dicky, like PP attracted. That's not even where I'm actually getting like emotions. Like, I'm actually getting that like, it is really emotionally, I mean, and someone like this is gonna, if you're completely independent, that means you audit you are responsible for your emotions by yourself as well. So you usually can come across as a person in a world full of people who don't even check in with their emotions. Therefore, they really would be a codependent partner because they don't hold that aspect of themselves. It looks like this Nine of Pentacles truly is like kind of like hard bodied. So it's like the money she has, she chose to earn it by attaching it to feeling good about herself. So it's like, I'm not going to go faster in money earning than I do feel good about myself. And it'll pay off in the long run because yes, now I'm moving at a pace where it's like I earn money and I reach a physical goal, or like, you know what I mean? It's like moving in tandem very much with this divine feminine. But it actually really worked out in terms of like really being like upping the attractive energy of it, like the magnetism and the attraction of it, because again, it's like you really put up a lot of strong boundaries. They're strong. This is, listen, literally the strength card 9 of Wands. This is a strong boundary. This is like no. And it actually really helps define the individual. I really think this is such a beautiful, Taurus is such a good thing because Taurus is so bullheaded, but Taurus helps you really carve out, like some of my favorite men are Taurus sons. I think that's not even true. I think it's a very me thing. I'm not even saying like, that's not a general take. I don't think anyone would agree with that. But for me, I really do well with Taurus men because I feel like they tend to be really, really defined within themselves. And a lot of times, Taurus men have like a lot of strong boundaries. Like they're my like kind of like stinky beak. They're like my little binkers. Like, I don't like that. Like they're like kind of like, you know. And I just think about like dear Taurus friends that I've had. They're really like strong boundaries. Like if they don't fucking like something, like nope, no, seriously, nope, I'm not eating that shit. Nope. You know what I mean? And it can kind of just be like, you could spend like fucking 30 years like, Taurus, come on, bro, just eat fucking corn. It's like, Taurus is like, nope, I don't like that shit, you know? But I think under this Taurus new moon, really strong boundaries make for really hot people. Yeah, really attractive people that can attract, like the people that you find yourself like getting drawn into. Like I feel like that's what a lot of people have these. Like I just feel like really like sucked over to that thing. But yeah, in a low vibration, this could be if you are feeling wounded by not having boundaries up and you are now having to deal with something of God's strength. It's because you were with a masculine. You were in a partnership because you're a toxic feminine. The toxic masculine you were with was love bombing the shit out of you. And then just doing the traditional shit, doing the like spiritual fucking pariah thing. Like this is like, but it's just maxing on the effort. It's like glazing and a lot of effort and to look like fucking, this is some religious shit, dude. I'm not kidding. Like a lot of these karmic masculine and feminines, like they act real religious about their relationship. It's like, we wake up, we go to bed, we fart. It's like, what the fucking, that's what I'm telling you girls. I stay with autistic bitches because I don't think you girls understand. Every day's got to be Disney World. Why the fuck am I alive? I don't need, I'm deeply structured, definitely. I definitely know deeply what my hobbies and interests are. And I run to them like the plague. I tend to overwork my body, my everything, then underwork it. But at the same time, I don't really have a like, I like it crazy. You know, I also like we love working in food because it's like you kind of keep the crazy. Like I love the scheduling of the restaurant industry. It's like so good for me because it just kind of keeps you like any day, any hour, kind of, you know, and divine energy is like always happening. It's like every day hour is like so sacred to me. So yeah, that's what it looks like. But girl, I mean, if you put up a strong boundary, your actual divine masculine was on the other side of that boundary, just like fucking celibate, prayed up, fucking mastering magic, fucking open-hearted and full of fucking emotion. Like, what? Good for all divine feminines out there, global. Your walk, that was hard. I'm not even gonna talk about these niggas glazing you and being super thrilled for you, but I really can talk about how hard it is to have this strong of a boundary during this type of time. One of the things, like I said, I think Aquarians really understand, but it's like, we're going through something so heavy on the nervous system right now because we've really truly lived like such a long period of time as like sort of this underdog archetype, as this like background archetype, if you will. And I feel like when that's all over and it finally the world catches up to like where some of these sort of future thinkers have been, I think there's this adjustment period that I think is gonna go. Oh shit, party invite tonight. But yeah, so anyways, I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about. But yeah. I also think this is a big nod because even the karmics, and be honest with you, everyone's attracted to the bitches whose boundaries are up. Yep. Because this is one of those times too where it's like, even if you are in the problem, like the problem isn't an attractive place to be. This is not the time in humanity where people, if they're conscious of something being like toxic, it's not gonna feel good. There's no like, oh, it's cool to be in a toxic. No. Like this is kind of the like repulsed energy because there's no more volunteering. It's like we're out of time, so everything gets kind of like go push by the universe in terms of ascension and crossing over all that good stuff. So I do feel like pretty much everyone is vying for the same independent, because it's not. This is also like a minority experience. It's not everybody who chose independence. In fact, it's a lot less people who chose to consciously do that. Because you would have had to fight. You would have had to fucking take on all this shit by yourself. You're probably like a little wounded from that. Because it just bothers some that you have to be so strong at your boundaries. Like, what? It's like, Jesus, I had to fucking mangle you bitches at the game. What? Let's see what's crowning this. Taurus fucking new moon as fuck, dude. Taurus new moon is fuck, dude. Taurus new moon is fuck, dude. I think one thing I will say is like, so the shit that I went through on the 13th, which was very much like a death frequency, I feel like was collective. Because a lot of it didn't really stick. It was just like situational. It was just like we were like in it, just like we were in a daze and we were just like going through a bunch of weird shit. Also, we were like, we tripped. So it was like, so what a weird shit happened like in the middle of a shroom trip. So it was like, what the fuck is going on? So we definitely like, cracked the fabric, I think, too. It's like 15,000 milligrams will do that to you or some shit. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with me sometimes? No, I'm kidding. But so what's crowning our new Taurus new moon is really crazy. So you want to really know the real thing, because I keep talking about strong boundaries. What are the boundaries about? What is the strong boundary about? This is what it's about. You are protecting your right to make your sacred work and sustain it. Again, you were going like quite literally going independent. This is literally like, I'm going to start doing my work, but I'm going to start doing it in flux, but with high, strong boundaries, because my end goal was this. This is what I'm saying to you now. A lot of these bitches gonna come and love bomb you and whatever, because you want to know what's attractive right now? Them single and zeros, them bitches who are truly energetically fucking independent. Okay? Energetically. Okay? No slave on the body has always been the goal. No slave on the body. Do exactly what you do without slavery. I want that for all of you. I want you to use a little bit of brain power to think about how you can do exactly what you're doing without enslaving anyone. That's all it's going to take. You're not a bad person. I am not saying wanting to be a singer is a bad thing. That's a purpose, of course. I'm saying capitalism, not a conducive structure. We can't be okay with sanctioned murder. We just can't. Because you girls are still mad when you get pulled over, but that will never go away until we become conscious that we murder a lot of things for no reason other than to make sure that the money machine can go. So let's do that. We're all decent. That's one political move. That's one love. We can all get behind my campaign. Let's do it, yeah? Okay. But it's Empress. An Empress knows that while we work, this is what I would say makes an Empress different than a queen. I feel like a queen can do the work that an Empress can do, but an Empress knows how to protect the work that's being done so that we don't repeat the work. A queen is fine if we don't make crops one season. It's fine, fuck it. Next year, try to do better. But the Empress has enough wisdom from all four kingdoms to know how to fortify the work that has been done so that it doesn't get lost. And sometimes that requires archiving and strong boundaries and being like, no, we're doing something here. Because when the 8 of Pentacles comes down from Catherine and Malkuth, it's actually sovereign. So something that you like, there's a big transition happening where it's like whoa, and this is huge because I felt this. So I literally crossed over at my pizza gig, and God wanted me to join the gig just so I could see the example of what the energetic processing would look like on the third dimension. Again, I get a lot of mini assignments in life, and what you girls might call in Gen Z terminology, side quests. I get a lot of those mini cycles because I do just like literally need to see like, so I map cosmology, astrology, right? So I'd like cosmological shit will be happening at a certain time, and then like I'll be in an experience or something that needs to show me how that would play out, like in a situation or a dynamic, and then like, you know, I do the unpacking of it, you know, blah, blah, blah. So this is exactly what was happening at my job. So when I joined the pizza job, it would be very much Eight of Pentacles, kind of like bus girl, get in there and learn the industry. So I didn't feel on top of it when I started in the pizza thing. I'm very much a pizza girl. It's not that it's not a part of my purpose. It's not like, oh, I just went and joined some gig. Like, no, I'm like very passionate about pizza. Like it's like a person. You guys know that. I mean, if you follow me at all, like on my cooking journey, pizza is a big thing. I think pizza started being a thing probably like 2024 for me. So started calling in terms of just like, I think I was like trying to get, I think baking was something that always really intimidated me as like, I don't know, I feel like a black person. Like I used to have like a lot of like my white girlfriends, they used to like really be good at baking. It was like something they just like kind of like ate the boots down with when I was in college. So I was like always like, you know, I need to go back for baking. And I just think, yeah, anyways. So with the whole pizza thing though, it's like coming in, at first it was like Eight of Pentacles. And then I had to go in and be like, okay. I've got to take like this Eight of Pentacles thing where it's just like me coming in and just like working really hard. But I needed to come in and put some boundaries up so that I'm not just like, because I'm also like in a very different place than a lot of people like my staff are. And so I needed to put in some boundaries in place so that it actually turns the opportunity into a Nine of Pentacles, which is completely different, to where I'm not even really working. I'm just kind of sitting sovereignly generating my own money. So you kind of had to go into something and completely convert it. There was a conversion process that happened where it's like something that you took that was put in to put you in sort of, so it's almost like you were contracted as like indentured servitude and you actually come out as your own CEO. That was the process. Now, there was this toxic masculinity. This is the old patriarchy that was trying to love bomb you and tradition you back into the old way to make you think that that was glamorous. And that was really corny because I feel like on Mother's Day, this energy was really prominent. And I think I use Mother's Day as an example because on that day, a lot of people show appreciation for like family structures, right? But I think you really could see that where a lot of people might have been trying to like love bomb or glorify the old way of being, which was not independent, which was codependent. And so I feel like Mother's Day was the like big show of like the codependent, like, oh, let's celebrate codependency. And then the real fireworks show is how like, it's almost like the underdogs didn't show their hand, but when the underdogs show their hand, the magic trick that they did was they took something that was like indentured servitude and turned it into, like, they smashed enough grapes with their feet and actually they just know how to run a vineyard. That is the whole thing. Like that's kind of what I was telling my husband. Like he sent me today. My husband got a job as a cook as well, and I'm really excited for us because we're both like learning a lot about like high scale like cooking. So I was really proud of him. He sent me a beautiful sandwich he made earlier, like burger sliders thingy situation earlier that he had like fried and did himself at his job, and I was so proud of him, and it looked phenomenal. And I feel like that's the whole thing though, is like people might be like, why are you and Dennis doing a regular summer? Why would you go get a job in a kitchen? Well, it's one, the skill. Like if you care about that, being good at it, it's like a skill. It's like huge for us, you know. It's always been, I mean, me and him are just such, I mean, we have a specialized diet obviously, but we're also such eaters and we love to eat a lot within our specialized diet. So it's like always just a good thing for us to like be thinking about things that make a marriage successful, which is like, so I grew up in that type of household where it's like my mom's like always like, she just worked at the newspaper, so she just like knew everything that was going on in the town, because that was like back in the day before like phones and shit. It's like how you know what was going on in the town. So I had the type of mom that was like, dude, free Braille classes at the fucking deaf library. Let's go. Yes, on Thursdays. Yes, let's go. And then you just go end up doing some fun shit, and you get to go home with like an envelope full of like written Braille shit that you did or some shit. You know, it's just like shit like that. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like the underdogs at this time, they let the guys who were going to make their case for the old world. It's so glamorous. Look how cool it is to max out on like major capitalism, like backing my shit. And look how good it is when capitalism like pays your bills and keeps you safe. And the real guys were like, we just keep on working. She gonna fuck it up. She gonna keep on twerking. We was like, you know, we was getting to it. And we kind of probably just looked like that. Like, I think that's what the problem was, is like these guys in the past, these toxic, the patriarchy of the past that was trying to be like, yo, capitalism's the shit, bro. Look how good and luxury your Mother's Day can be when you just get paid and you buy a system that can give you fake security, right? And they were probably looking at us guys who were like clocking in and breaking back. And they, for a second, the devil got them completely. And they were like, dude, we're eating the boots down. These guys are losers. They're schmoozers. And yeah, we win. We win because they're really working 9 to 5. Isn't that embarrassing? Whole time, it was never about the hours that you're working. It's about the system you work for, my brother. We could be part-time, full-time, don't matter. Overtime, it could be OT. It doesn't even matter. It has to be, though, that, like, legitimately, this is way more impressive than glazing Uncle Cracker's fucking Jim Crow, fucking Willie Lynchian, fucking Satan Shack. Yeah. Yeah. Because these guys, they weren't even worried about... This is funny because this energy, notice how it's all about outside perception? This energy wants to feel different. This energy's like, I'm going to literally feel different when I'm no longer like nose down working at like, this is literally like when you start a job, and like me and Dennis both know that like the jobs that we took on, they're really phenomenal because they're about like personal skills that we really want to develop in ourselves that you really don't get anywhere else. Like, it's not like being really rich can like just get, you're still gonna have to go to someone you trust that you like, they're like cooking or somewhere to find a way to cook or learn how to cook, right? Like if you just want to do that. So it's like, right? Okay. Anyways. So, but what I was going to say is, I feel like, what was I about to fucking say? Yeah, but I feel like, yeah, no, seriously, the gigs that we got though, it's like, once you do master the, like they're hard at first because it just kind of feels like, dang, this feels like a lot of labor because it took some time for us to get, I feel like this is a theme. There's something about like your purpose or your sacred calling. Like a lot of us were told by God to get back in the trenches. Like because a lot of us, especially when you're on this journey, you kind of have to pace yourself, right? Like if you're like, for someone like me, you know, I'm obviously like very much known for my proficiency at like extemporaneous speaking, but at the same time, I'm well over 20 plus years of like public speak, like being used and very comfortable with like standing behind a microphone. So, and like speaking my original thoughts and like communicating it in a message to like a general, right? So it's been over 20 years of me doing that. Okay. Preached my first sermon at 7 years old. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is kind of like what it was going to be for me. But at the same time, even with me right now, my call, which was a challenge, it is a challenge. Like I said, you're the fire horse. It's going to challenge you to do something very Geminian, especially Uranus and Gemini. What the fuck, brother? Uranus and Gemini. Because, and I think that's just like kind of a part of it, but it's like, that's a really great time to go back and get really solid on the third house, but third spaces in general, like anything that connects to a third space. So like, you know, the niggas who are at the pub, like Dennis just got a job at a brewery. That's really great third space vibes. I work at a pizza fucking kitchen, really great third space vibes. Places like that are really going to be useful for you because Uranus and Gemini is way less materialistic than Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus was shaking up completely the material world, whereas this is the intellectual world. So Uranus and Gemini doesn't really care. So it's not super about what you have, but it's more about the way you think about the things you experience. And so where do you do your thinking? In like third spaces, right? Like in places where thinking is allowed, you know, where you're not having to like drive the car or do the shit, like where you can like be and you're just like there. And so doing that was like guidance we got from God. Again, I always tell you guys the plays that I get from God because I'm like, listen, you never know. You might want to try to do that and get on board with this fucking blessing. But you girls think I'm a fucking piece of shit. That's fine. I don't care. But I am trying to say to you right now, it looks like you were told that you're like, there's something that it's almost basically like it's an unmolded piece of clay, but God told you that it's the thing that is actually the clay block that turns into the shit that goes in the Smithsonian. The distance between you and the Smithsonian archived piece is all these strong boundaries you have to just be like, I'm not a slave. So it's like, I feel like the guys who are in alignment with what we're supposed to be receiving, this Taurus new moon, we reclaimed work because working is a part of life. Slavery is a different conversation. And I just feel like this is someone sitting, this is a collective of people that have reconnected themselves with hard work, with the fact that that really doesn't go anywhere, with the fact that like capitalism really reshapes our lives, where we start landscaping, that there are certain people who get into certain types of work that aren't work anymore. They're not working on anything. They're just like money making. And so I think there's also something to be said about how like some people have gotten to a place where like, oh, I know how to make money really well, but that has nothing to do with the work sector. And the work sector, which means like that. So one of the ways my dad's like ministry, he teaches you about, he's anti-capitalism, so he teaches you about like sowing seeds. So it's like one of the first things, like when he works with children, like if he baptizes you, whatever, first thing he teaches you about is like his financial system. That's really God's financial system, which is the seed sowing system, which is very much like, if you're a real magic man, you know all about this, where it's like you basically can't, magic needs a currency, and the currency is life force energy. And so there are ways where you can, so giving a sacrifice is like definitely one way to do it. Like if you worked for $50 an hour or something, you know, when you give a tithe and offering, that's an exchange of that same currency, because it's actually not about, you're not really supposed to give tithes on things that are passive, but they're really supposed to be it's really supposed to go back to like worked, labored income, not just like income. But now that we're in this place where like income is a new thing that isn't associated necessarily with like hands, like innovation allows for that in a lot of ways, but it isn't necessarily connected with like labor hours anymore. So a lot of people are realizing that's also unsustainable, to remove the human population from the labored hour. This is where the billionaire issue comes in, because the billionaire isn't laboring at all. They're probably not even really working in a day. You only get to billionaire because of massive assets basically being shuffled at the right time all the time to amass to like a gross net billion, right? So this is like, and this can be over a lot of different, this isn't all just like $1 billion liquid cash, right? So it's like accumulative whatever, right? But even to get there, a lot of that is what, stationary. It could just, it's past, it has to be to get that. There's no job you can do, there's no rocket you could build, or there's no one task you could do that's going to pay you in $1 billion fucking paycheck. Like, you know, that's what I'm trying to say, is like most of the people that get to those multimillionaire, billionaires, they're not even like, their day-to-day life is not even about like working with, so they're in a different conversation. Now I do feel like there was like a big not even just suggestion, it was a big thing that God was like, well, because we've over relied on capitalism, there are certain life systems that we're not doing anymore that are like making us suffer. So not being comfortable with a life of work. I think that capitalism even made the structure of like how the body ages. Okay, like the senior citizen and then like the elder or whatever. The elder is not supposed to be some decrepit, like washed up bag of bones. No, the elder is like committed and practicing in life. Like there's no expiration. And so even that, like the ageism, that's all, those are all definitions and presets that we've still put in our conversation of capitalism, because we could think very differently about aging, what those stages should look like, what you expect it to do, but really we don't know, because a lot of people, again, that framework says like by that time you should be good and expired, and then that's also when you're supposed to do your most moving around. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so there's all of those off the top downloads. Those are all beautiful messages. Whoa, feeling really crazy and good. Holy shit. And this is kind of where I have been, because I was like, remember I was opening this up and I was like, oh, 4 minutes in, and I'm kind of just like, whatever, telling you about like what kind of week I was having. I feel like we are already mixing and alchemizing with what is for us. But again, I think that the strong boundaries will really determine how this Eight of Swords feels. I feel like in general, everyone kind of feels very surrounded at this time by the spiritual truth. Like, I feel like that's how I felt. Like, I feel like some of the things that you might be going through might be super like unique and one experiences, maybe like first, like I don't know if I've ever experienced it, right? But there's something notable about how all of it that's happening is just because you're getting remixed with something else. So like this week I went through a lot of things that like if I didn't have a connection to God, I would have thought my life was way worse than it is. And I probably would have let these really dark, evil entities like do some low level magic and get away with like fucking my shit up. But obviously I didn't, because I love God. So like it wasn't even an issue at all. And we're fine, because I was able to clock. I was like, yeah, this is all happening right now because temperance is obviously like re-alchemizing stuff. Like my waters are getting re-aligned to certain things. And that's why it feels like I'm trapped and like I can't move, but actually it's like the best thing. It's actually like divine timing arriving. So that could be a thing that to just think about in the near future, but divine timing is arriving, but it might be arriving in a way that feels like more like you're surrounded by metaphysical phenomena and not so much like you directly think like, oh, I know this thing answers my prayers. Cause like you could not tell me that having like being harassed by like white cops was like, I wouldn't have told you in that moment, like, oh, this is my God answering my prayers. But in a certain way, it is leading me to that ability. Yes. Let us see. There's again, like I said, this is just kind of the go marker for soulmates. This is kind of the goal. Like, this is definitely the time where it's like, okay, you definitely know who and what that is. I also just feel like there's a ton of fucking flowers. I feel like metaphorically, the divine masculine that is in their divinity now has a lot of flowers to give to the divine feminine, again, because of the strong boundaries. They've also come down a notch. Right? We came down a cup. So it looks like in the past, there were 7 cups. So it was like, whoa, this is the whole, like, I think 7 of cups, they had to tell the whole emotional world. And then the 6 of cups after the near future comes is like when it grounds down. Like, it's like, it's like it's like, I gotta tell you, my heart is open and this is all my feelings in my heart. And then this is where you finally like start going through everything and like go through the experience, together and what have you, which is great. I don't know, it's great. Right? It's like a good thing. Whatever. Yeah, it's a good thing. So yeah, but I also just feel like this is sweet. I feel like the divine feminine disposition is like open and frank, and she's just like, okay. And the divine masculine, I think he is just it's ironic because I think he's coming from such a tumultuous, I don't think he could have even written up what he had to escape just to like be in this moment of like face-to-face presence. But when he gets there, it's just such a, it's like one of them like feels like a very pure, I think you're really going to see the like shyness. I think there's like a little shy guy vibe. It's like one of these guys is like mad shy. It's like, I'm shy. It's like, oh, you're shy. It's like, oh. Because maybe this masculine is just like not, the personality is not, like the ego persona is not like shy, or it's not like the ego even. It's not like a negative thing. It's just like the first house, like the way they like represent themselves, like usually not that. And so it's like, oh, that kind of tracks. I wouldn't know that. And they're like, yeah, nobody knows this because I didn't even know this side of me because you're the only one who brings out this like side of me. It's also funny. A lot of newness, a lot of new beginnings with the vibes. And it's a shy guy. And I do feel like the divine feminine, she's just looking because it's almost like you're receiving something, but her disposition is like, it's something she knows. It's like, yeah. And he's just kind of shy because it's not prideful. Everything has been crumbled and dismantled. So there's no, you know what I mean? Oh my God. And we've also got this divine masculine here, King of Wands, who is just so attracted. He wants to give equally to the 9 of Pentacles. The divine feminine who just found out how to basically make work not feel like work by going independent, by working, yes, when you want to and how you want to and when you want to, instead of like, because that's just somebody juicing the fact that they know you're gonna work either way, but you don't have to work in a slavery system. You can work outside of a slavery system. I also just I feel like this divine masculine is like, yes, like I feel like there is literally like a balancing of like scales, like pentacle wise, that like needed to happen, that I don't even think the divine feminine really sees themselves as like in the conversation of maybe for this masculine, but it's really about that. It's really about making sure the pentacles are balanced so that, yeah, all systems are a go. See what was the fear. Telling the truth to your foundation, I think, was always definitely going to be the biggest fear around this Taurus new moon. I mean, there could be a lot of people who have to like kind of bring a machete to like some pretty heavy, some pretty bricked up foundations. It's just like you might be really foundational in something under the Taurus moon that you might be scared about having to tell a quick truth to. I think you might even expect that like you are confronted with facing that fear where it's like, yeah, it's probably now because it looks like it has to come out quick. It's like if you always probably fearing this foundation and like the sturdiness of it. And I feel like this is that facing of that fear because it's like your spiritual truth has to be put up against it. Because I think this is another big thing is like a lot of people under this Taurus new moon are never trying. They don't speak their spiritual truth because they don't want to know if it knocks it down or not. So a lot of people have been doing the like Libra Mars indecision thing where it's like maybe if I don't pick an answer, if I plead the spliff, maybe I won't have to. And it's actually in the end exactly what the Divine Feminine envisioned. She was like, I got told by God that the union happens with investment. Like love is an investment, right? But this is weirdly set up to where it's like someone can court you though by investing in you. And ironically, like in the whole like dance between the Divine Feminine and Masculine, it's like, there's no cost to love, and there's never been about there actually being a price to like what we're doing. But I think there's something to really be said about how the difference between divinity in a coupleship and non-divinity being at the center of a coupleship is that like there isn't anything to actually physically build. So there are people who, because Pentacles is not just like, it's not cash. It's not people who are cash. It's not capitalism. That's actually having pentacle energy, meaning like pentacle energy is like what's put into Tethered Studios. It's like the nuggets that are put into what make this business valuable. It's not actually like a dollar amount. It's like, so pentacles are like invaluable. I can't explain to you how valuable an Ace of Pentacles is. It's the pillar of a physical manifestation of any kind. And so for this person to be like, I have resources, abundance, physical means to invest it. It's not just, I don't just mean like someone has money to give to someone they want to be with. No. I mean, they have all the materials to build something. And I think that's the biggest thing is like people are realizing divine unions come together with purpose, building out the divine love that's supposed to be there. Again, if you don't even start with the divine love, you're getting into divine union doing bullcrap. Helping each other stay misaligned is what I should really say you're doing, because it's like you're not accomplishing anything that's on anyone's path really by just staying misaligned to one another and like stuck. What really builds you come into union, and then you immediately see that all your pentacle energy that is on your soul, the personal value that you have, you can invest it into this love and that you're building, and you will see what can come of it. But it's like someone is like, I want to invest in this union. I think someone's been wanting to invest in this union. And I think, again, the investment is just a good investment. I think someone's just really leaving feeling like that was a great investment and I knew it. And then the person who is a good investment, the feminine that is a good investment, is like, I also, regardless of how this relationship with their masculine went out throughout the journey of separation and union, they also knew themselves to be a good investment. So again, this is where the alignment really comes through. It's like, maybe the karmic energy doesn't see certain people as a good investment, but the two people that are actually soulmates both see each other as great investments. So it doesn't really matter like what the hoopla of the peanut gallery is really going to say. You get me? Let's see if there's any other messages from Spirit that want to come out. This is a beautiful Taurus new moon message. I also feel like there's something to be said for the divine feminine who has boundaries up. She will hear you if you're in your magician, if you are genuinely trying to create something with her, because I think that's the thing. It's cold, it's stoic, it's past due, it's icy, it's not a lot. But what are you trying to create with? Because I think that was the whole issue. It's like I had to have strong boundaries, because it's like you don't seem to know what you want to be doing, is what this Queen of Swords is saying. I had strong ass boundaries up because it's like, I don't think you know what the fuck you want to do with me at all. So until you fucking figure that out, there's nothing to do here, buddy. But I think there was like this trepidation of like, I don't know how they're going to respond to me. They're just going to cuss me out. And they're like, no, you'd only get cussed out if you're not coming and pulling up with some, I'm ready to create my part too. Are you ready to do your part and create it or not? Let's see what's crossing this Queen. It's God's strength. We need to see the God strength. We need to see that. I think you had to do something that was like, I think they need to see that your boundaries are intact, that you held them up, and that you fought for them. You fought to keep your boundaries where they were. Because again, also this queen doesn't want any favors. It's like, you're either aligned to me or you're not. So if you are aligned to me, just stop wasting my time. Like, let's just see the goods and whatever. Oh my God. Bro, I do this shit live, so I get like kind of freaked out sometimes with my hand magic. But I feel like I'm very much Queen of Swords right now. And I feel like you guys heard me when I was like, well, fuck it. If you're aligned to me, then just fucking show up and align to me and like show me what you got. And literally, you guys are like, bet. You literally like, bet. Oh. This is the shit where you're like, okay, you really are twin for real. It's like the Queen of Swords knew that, but it's like someone's about to do a magic trick that's like, oh, you're here. Oh, you made it. Okay, cool. New world, here we come. Oh, I guess we both independent. Oh, I guess we both the shit. Okay, now we can roll. That's crazy. That's like the icy chain link up of a lifetime. That's crazy. These two motherfuckers, they're like ruling from a city. This is like social distancing. It's like, let's socially distance this motherfucking rulership. Yeah. That's crazy. So what I'm seeing is, here's the cards. Guess what the Queen of Swords had to do to come into union? She had to have her boundaries. King of Swords, he had to show some God strength. They do that proper. I think they're both going to be able to come out at the same time. Oh my God. Dude, this is crazy. This is so smart. Again, I told you, there's something about you, so it's the King of Swords showing up in his God strength, the Queen of Swords showing up in her boundaries, that makes them come into union, and it actually makes the reality sovereign. So they're able to actually like move on to independence. However, it looks like in order to do that, they had to turn down Eight of Pentacles, somewhere where someone was just like trying to get them to keep doing the like indentured service, just keep working, but you're not even, I'm not going to keep working for you. You're not, you get what I'm saying? So it looks like there had to be a little bit of like tussling, a little bit of like really, molding the clay to see, like, to get this to really fit. Because I think it's like, you know what you know, and you know what would be for you. So you really got to, if you find something good, just try to make sure you get it as accurate as possible. Is kind of the vibe. But it's like, because they came into union, Eight of Pentacles, Six of Cups reversed. That's what I'm saying. It had to go this route where both of them are just showing up kind of at the end, linking up through it all, through spiritual, united by spiritual truth. That's what I'll say. And they do get to savor that this is where they're both individually at. This is basically like the day gets saved because they didn't do this together. Remember I told you it was like socially distanced? This is basically like two divine partners had some third dimensional issues to where they like basically were supposed to be running this kingdom together. And usually if you want the benefits from being a king or queen, you'd run it together because you get to feel each other. Like you get to have the partner helping you do it. But it looks like I said, 6 feet social distancing. It looks like these two are running the same kingdom, but from far away. And I think you know who's running the opposite end of your kingdom because they had the same objective, spiritual truth as you. They're trying to do the exact same thing you were trying to do. They don't want to be, they want to be sovereign. They want to be spiritually. That God told me what my part is. I don't need anybody telling me what it's. I only go off my spiritual truth. That's what they're on. And that's what makes these two a match in the end, because we need to hear the truth though. Only your journey with strength and your journey with your boundaries linking up and being complementary could actually tell us that we have the same spiritual truth, which is what I believe the Queen of Swords was trying to say in the beginning. She's like, I'm going to invite you to something. I'm going to tell you the truth about this. And I think he's finally ready to accept his seat at the throne. Because I'm just kidding, we didn't love each other and work on it together on the way up. Unfortunately, no. But we did do it individually. So as long as you're working on yourself individually, you can remagnetize. Because again, it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. If you're really working on your individual vibration, it actually just makes you magnetic, independent, and sexy. So even though we lost it, even though we didn't write the love story we were supposed to write for this particular union, we did get to independence, which means you're crossed over in the new world. Fuck whoever, do whatever, because there's no karma, there's everyone's safe here, everyone's ascended and awake. So it would be divine partnership and consecrated intercourse and love and blah, blah, blah. Because this is a bachelor, right? So this is like someone who's like, well, you're good now. If you're at the 9 of Pentacles, you're good to like go offer that to see if you can get a 10 Pentacles. It just looks like you could have, God wrote the story to where like you two were supposed to like have this lovey-dovey, like, let's work together and build this together. And it didn't. It looks like ice cold, separate. We built this from fucking the ether. But we did build it, and we won't be allowed to do it again that way in the future, but we do have the same spiritual truth, so we will be able to, like, because we still did the work on ourselves to get ourselves there, we can come together because we're both there and work on what we didn't moving forward. But it looks like someone knew that it's like their empress they didn't do this with, but it's still their empress. So again, just so you know, in the future, the snooky and the fucking hard work and building it together, that's a big part of it too. And I think that's just like a learning thing. I think the masculine here from the patriarchy, if you're crossing over and you're trying to come into a divine union, maybe you've never had that before. One of the things that I think you're learning now is like, oh, there are certain things that I severed along the way because like I was taught to just like kind of like cut off that part of my like receptor or like my body or like whatever. And so I didn't think that it would matter that I didn't spend like quality time or that we didn't build it together. But I think you know that like, oh, I could have, and that definitely also would have been cool, because I think it's like, I think this is definitely just like the love story where it's like two people who are really solid individuals do come together. But it looks like the story with a divine union like this, it could have come way earlier. It didn't have to be that you guys waited until you were fully independent on your own to start connecting. It looks like maybe this was a story that was supposed to be like you guys grew together. Fine. I mean, it's not fine, it's fine, it's like whatever, because I think there's just like a lot of things that were missed, low-key. It's like kind of an empire where it's like low-key you don't really have the data on what that was, and we didn't really like share the moments, and that's valuable. So I feel like that's why it is a little bit of a like, yeah, we're here, we're serving, but it's a little cold because we don't have as much of the warmth. I feel like all this would have added some warmth to the empire, but it's all good. I think those moments happened, they just weren't shared together. Yeah, recent past. This is exactly what I said it was. I think in the recent past too, there's some toxic masculinity. The toxic masculinity frequency is here. They're getting left behind in the dust. So whoever was love bombing you and was being just like righteous, like trying to be like spiritually righteous or whatever, and they were really just like trying to dress up being mad burdened. They just got left. Again, kind of goes back to like, don't underestimate how like emotionally, like, I think some people get really got when they don't realize like some people are really like, it wouldn't be shit to drop you where you stand type of thing. So I kind of get a little bit of that energy where it's like, damn, they dropped me like a hot potato, and it's like I ended up with jack shit. So that could be the reality for the recent past. I also think too, before I go on to the next thing, in the recent past there was a lot of this for even the divine masculine, who was like, I'm just really overthinking how I have to share my whole emotional feelings. I have to show everything that I've felt this whole time. I have to keep my heart open. I have to really honor God with this, and I have to really master this magic trick. It's just like there was a lot of like, I'm stressed out. Clarifying the 8 of Pentacles is like, so basically this is it. You got an opportunity that felt like it was going to definitely give you 10 cups, but it's going to be hard work. That's usually how liberation goes. If you're in a slavery system, it's going to be hard work to liberate yourself. That is the truth. But it is the only way to go. It's the only path. Freedom is the only path. This is someone who knows that. This is someone who's like top of the read. It's like, is there anything else to really do? Everything else would just be like deferring my death. Yeah. Okay, great. So then let's fucking do it. Yeah. Let's actually do that. Yeah. Because the high priestess said it. She's like, hard work is actually not hard work. It's actually just doing the regular work. Like right now I said regular something because I was telling you guys, you're gonna have to go back, and everyone's gonna have to do this. You can ask any person, even big guys who do whatever. They're being asked to get back in the trenches of the work they do. So like, even if you've started to spearhead a Fortune 500 company, it's getting to that point in the cycle of the business where it's like, it's time for you to get back in the trenches and like look at the numbers and look at the data and look at the product and look at what's circulating and like really see if you still got the chops. Like maybe you run a legacy business, so we're like the best shoe cobblers in the city. Okay, that's great, but it's like, it might be time to like really like get back in there and like, you know what I'm saying? Like up in like how many clients you get or caring more, you know, your business hasn't grown, so it keeps the lights on and you pay your bills that you want, but you kind of plateaued. So it's kind of like that. It's like, sometimes we get back in the kitchen literally because we don't want to plateau. We want to have some more inspiration come through. And yeah, it might be harder work right now, but it looks like it leads to this later. I think this is also a couple that like knew this, a divine union that knew this. It was like, even if it doesn't work out that we don't build it together, as long as we build it independently, we'll have it in the end. So I think people knew that there were mistakes that were made that were like, well, it doesn't jeopardize that we can still end up in the end. So I think people just like refocused quickly on like meeting the deadline. I said that in a reading the other day. I was like, where it's just more about, or what I love about Atlanta is just like, it's a production city. So it's like, as long as we can make sure we get the deadline or like the end goal or like what the outcome is or secure the contract, I guess that's okay. We missed a few of those little check-ins, all right. But as long as we really hit that over-under, you know what I mean, type of shit. So let's see the temperance. Oh my, it doesn't get much better than this, dude. I told you. It might feel very, it's like you're mixing with the King of Pentacles. So energy, right? The Two of Cups, it would be mixing with just a very stable frequency. And I feel like the vibe is so like, hey. Because I feel like it's like your spiritual truth bind you together. It's not even necessarily like conscious like emotion and thought. I mean, it's all there. The spiritual truth would tell you why you have the emotions you have for the person you have or whatever, blah, 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 because of your counterpart. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, are you ready to mix now? Like, look at this. Like, this divine masculine's like, no, I'm not gonna not like take my hand and like, no, I'm gonna reach for your cup this time, and like I'm gonna let's mix this time. Because I think the beautiful part about this is the king of. There's so many kings out. Actually, all 4 kings are out. Okay, so this is an empire. So this is the part of the empire that you get last. I think this is so beautiful. In the past, you master the emotion. So in the past, you're receiving an emperor. You're receiving a divine emperor who's now ready for union. This is beautiful. The emperor in the recent past, you mastered his cups because you had to basically master all of the. It's like basically you were getting shown a divine partnership in parts, like in elemental parts. So in the past, you got all their emotions. Just now, what's coming up in the present energy is their spiritual truth is aligning with yours. In the near future, you've got that sort of like attractive force that's also marked off there. And the very last thing that you'll really get to tap into once you realize that you've fully mixed with this energy is like the back. That's why there's certain aspects of the whole bread situation that don't matter, because you both are going to be bringing in your pentacle energy, your king of pentacle energy. So right now you may not be able to make shit shake because you're not in the union you're supposed to be in or whatever, because you guys did the separate thing. But when you do come in, your pentacle, your king of pentacle energy is meant for this, is meant to mix with this. So it should work out, like in terms of like big bag type of frequency. Yes, there's so much like coin slot frequencies with this energy. Quite literally, like there's so much with like love being like the transaction of it, like it's, as I was saying, love being transactional. Yikes. Okay, so remember how like with this card, I'm glad I got the clarification. Remember with this card I was telling you, I was like, he's kind of looking like a little, so there's also like a demonic, again, there's a lot of things going on right now. I think there could have also been a masculine who was like, again, just take this as it resonates. It's like, you could be investing. This is also like you're coming into this and investing in this after this. And the awareness, I feel like that, because I keep wanting to say something about like why they're coming with an investment. That is added because of the fact that this is where they're coming from. And likely because they were contemplating you with a demonic force, which is why it's like to rebuild trust, there's like this feeling of like, I need to buy into this though. Like they do, the divine feminine in this situation would kind of need like a buy-in, not because they need anything from you, but because it's like, what what's gonna keep you 10 and 2, like focused here, because you weren't at one point. King of Wands. Dude, holy shit, these cards. Holy shit, dude. King of Wands is eyeing his lover, and he's like, lover. He sent the emotions out, that's for sure. But remember I tell you guys, the Knight of Cups always comes when you're not at the end of your desire. So I think the Divine Feminine finally like left this space of desire for this King of Wands. Again, the independence frequency, and as soon as she like stopped desiring, and it's like full-fledged, like I can't. That's all I want, actually. Yeah. And this is that old traditional patriarchal foundation, materialism, third world, old bullshit, where you were a prop or a figurehead or a god to men, but your foundation is what we're worried about. The ethics of that foundation, right? Let's see, the Seven of Pentacles clarification, and then we'll be wrapping up. What a long ass message this was. Oh my god. Someone's like trying to come into divine union by investing into the love from being blocked. Crazy vibes. I'm telling you, the Nine of Wands, we have to talk about someone has really, really strong boundaries up, and someone's about to make a very big investment, and they're going to be able to come into union. And that's what feels so successful about it, is that you did actually come into union. The investment was enough to prove. It's not about someone saying yes or no. It needs to prove a lot of things. We need facts to align this, because these are big destinies that are trying to merge right now. So we would need like some things to come forward. Are we really, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I think there's just something about this divine union. It's like, we're not playing around here. So let me know what the hullabaloo is and what the hoopla is and what the ka is. But yeah, so happy Taurus new moon to you guys. I love you guys so much. This one was amazing. I'm glad I got some work in, and yeah, I hope you guys have like just the best Friday night ever. This is for me. Celebrate yourselves. Congratulations to anyone who is continuing to commit to, you know, anti-slavery like life practices, and just remember to continue to put the earth first, and, you know, seek out the natural realm as much as you can in terms of helping you ground down some of this like higher knowledge that's coming in at this time, and you should be good. And yeah, I'm really excited it's the weekend. So adios.